walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way. Jesus, there's freedom in your name.
All right, welcome to UCAN Studios. I am your host, Isaac Walsh, and I'm here with David Bowles. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, you did, Isaac. Thank you so much.
No problem. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Before we get to David, if this is your first time and you know someone that is struggling with drug rehabilitation or needs help with mental health, please go to UCANMichigan.com, UCANMichigan.com. Click on struggling, and we have groups that you can get a hold of today, and they will get in touch with you within 24 hours. If you have a family member that is overdoses in the hospital, you can give us a call at UCANMichigan.com. Click on struggling. Our number is there. Fill out the information. We could have someone into the hospital see them within 24 hours. Or just life has punched you in the face, which happens from time to time, and you're struggling with life and you're trying to get in a different community, you can check out spiritualwarfareunit.com. Click on struggling. I got over 20 different nonprofits we work with, out with food, clothes, baby formula, outreach, faith, spiritual things, mental health, whatever you need there. Direct lines and cuts at no cost to you. All right. How are we doing this morning?
I'm awesome, Isaac.
Well, I met you at the Davidson VFW, and we got to talk, and you help veterans, and I said, tell me no more, and I got to get your name. That's kind of how that went.
That's right. Yep.
All right. So are you from this area?
I am. I grew up in Lapeer, and I currently live in Davison now.
All right. And just tell everybody real quick, just an outline of what you do. It's called Homes for Heroes.
Yep. So in short, I am a real estate agent, and then I work with a nonprofit called Homes for Heroes.
Okay.
And our mission is to give back to community heroes. There are 5 different classes. There's veterans, firefighters, EMS, medical professionals, teachers, and law enforcement.
All right. What does that mean to give back? Like, what are you doing for them?
Well, we actually, so as a real estate agent, I can give back a cash gift to them through Homes for Heroes. Mm-hmm. We pair them with lenders that will pay their appraisal up front. So there's a $500 savings up front for those hero classes as well.
Okay.
And then on top of that, we're just committed to giving back and going above and beyond for these people as a thank you for their service to the community, because service does deserve its rewards, I believe.
So there's a reward. So this is stuff you do for people that are first responders or veterans.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So you've been selling houses for how long?
I've been in the real estate business for about 6 years. I began as an investor, and then I got
investor in real estate?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Investing in like houses, like
That's
flipping
right.
or something?
Yes, I own a couple of houses that I rent out, and then I've flipped a few as well.
So it's like still the same business. You're just adding more to the repertoire.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit of salesmanship, more so than just sitting back and pulling the puppet strings.
All right, pulling the puppet strings. So did you go to are you a college guy?
I did. I'm actually, so I have a degree in electrical engineering.
Electrical engineering?
Yes.
Wow,
Yep.
You got to be smart for that one.
Yeah, that's what they say. I think I'm just really good at taking tests. I don't know.
You're a great test taker.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I do okay.
All right, so you said yourself that you were a veteran, right?
Yes, sir. I served in the Navy.
All right. Did you do that out of high school?
I did, yeah. Right out of high school, I joined the military. So in 2003, I joined the Navy. Very shortly thereafter, I was sent over to Japan, and I spent my tour with the VFA 102 Diamondbacks out of Atsugi, Japan.
Yeah? What did you guys do there?
Just worked a lot. I mean, I partied a little bit. I was young.
What was your MOS?
I was a aviation electronic technician, so I worked on the radar systems, the weapon systems.
You're like the third aviator. Like all of you guys seem to be going into like doing houses and helping people. You're like the third one.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's awesome.
So give people an overview of what an avionic tech is.
So basically, we would work directly with the pilots, talk with them after their flights, and basically they would tell us what their issues were, and then we would go and troubleshoot those issues. Sometimes we got to turn on the jets and actually run them and sit in the cockpit and things while the jets were running. It was a pretty awesome job. And then I worked on the flight deck, so I got about 1.5 years of sea time, so working on the flight deck of the USS Kitty Hawk.
You didn't get stuck on the poop deck, did you?
No, we were up with the sun.
Oh, but it's like in Japan, it's roasting hot over there.
Oh, yeah.
My gosh.
Oh, yeah. That flight deck was hot.
Oh, dude. Melting hot.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So, one of the things I always ask a veteran is 2 questions. First of all, biggest trouble that you ever got in or that you witnessed while you were in?
Can I be honest? Can I be 100% honest?
Yeah, that's the goal.
All right. The biggest trouble that I got in, actually, I was arrested for fighting the on-base. They're called Master at Arms in the Navy.
Yeah.
The on-base police. I was, I had one too many, and Dave was having a pretty good night, and they wanted to put a stop to it.
Let's get ready to rumble. Now, here's the thing. Was it with civilians or was it with...
all military. I have a super clean civilian record.
Oh, my gosh. And it wasn't really problems.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, that's a Tuesday.
We all make mistakes, right? But
That's
no
a
regrets.
Tuesday. You know my favorite one so far, I heard?
Go ahead.
6105. I had to look that up. You know what it is?
Uh-uh.
Inciting a riot.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. They had some reservists come in, and they just had an issue, and they ended up having, I think, 5-finger death punch out there, so they were all fired up, and
Wow.
15 full-time versus 60 reserves, and
Oh, my.
yeah, incited a riot.
That's a fun day right there in the military.
That was not dull.
But like you said, that's another Tuesday. Stuff like that would happen, and we could move on from
Oh,
it.
dude, hurry up and wait.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh, man, it's so boring, and then it's super exciting for a little while. And it's
Right.
boring.
Yeah.
So, all right, so over in Japan, and most exciting thing that you did or saw over there?
I think the most awesome thing that I got to see when I was over there was Mount Suribachi on Iwo Jima. I actually got to climb to the top of that. A lot of people would recognize that as the mountain where the Marines are raising the American flag at the top.
Oh, the one where it's got the picture of all the guys?
That one. So I actually got to climb
what was it
that.
like?
It was amazing, and it's funny, Iwo Jima, it's a super small island. There's still live ordnance everywhere. There's only certain places you can go. It's controlled by the U.S. military, so civilians can't go there. And we would always go there to practice our night operations because out there it's middle of the ocean. It's pitch black at night. Wow. So that's where the pilots would train to simulate, a carrier environment, but it was pretty awesome. At the top of the mountain, you stand there and you just think about all the sacrifices that were made there.
Yeah.
The black sand beaches there. There are there's old tales about the sand is black because of all the blood that was spilled on the beaches, which isn't quite true, but
it's a
pretty awesome.
very poetic version of the blood that was spilled. And,
Correct.
Man, it's just
something.
I did something very similar in California when I did mountain biking. When you get to the top and you realize how little you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the world is just so vast, right? And it's just like, wow.
It's an insignificant feeling for sure.
Yeah.
But it's, I think, an important one that we can all see that perspective.
Understanding your position is an extremely important thing because if my experience has taught me, if I make my life about me, my life is not fulfilling.
Right.
That's just me. All right. So you went into the military after you got out of high school. So did you 4?
Almost. Yep. I actually was separated early. I got an honorable discharge, so things are all good. But yeah, I got out a little bit early, almost 3 years I served. And then right after I got out, that's when I met my wife now, and,
so you're 21, 20?
Yep. 21.
All right. Where was that, college?
Yeah, actually not college. So I got out and I thought I was going to just do the same thing I did in the military. And I just, that didn't happen. So I struggled for a little while.
What was the deal? Why not?
At that point I had been doing it for 3 years, but I had no college education. I didn't have any technical certifications.
They didn't take your military
No,
certs?
they didn't, and it's
Weird.
funny. A lot, you go try to get a job at an airport, they don't have a lot of missiles and things. So, a lot of the stuff, just doesn't really do much, So then they're like, well,
you say that out loud and it's like, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
they would frown on that, I think.
Right. So the radars, some of the radar, the principles are the same, but the equipment's completely different between military and commercial. So, that's when I decided to go to college, and I would get that electrical engineering degree, and then
how did you decide on electrical engineering?
I just threw a dart at a wall. I was looking at what I did in the military, and then I
can make money at this, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I know what I'm doing.
I said, what, you can't go to school. At the time, I didn't know if there was, certain like plane schools you went to. I had no clue. So electrical engineering. And I just thought, well, if I do that, I can make a lot of money. and I didn't have much growing up. So,
Right.
that was my goal from the time I was probably 21 until the time I was 30.
Yeah.
I had no goals in life other than to
Money.
make more money, make more money, make more money. Because
What are you doing? More.
Yep. I just
Yeah.
thought that was the answer.
Everybody, they tell you that's what the answer is, right?
Yep.
And it's like, oh, you're going to make money and everybody's going to be happy. And,
Right.
And no, that's not how any of that works, right? So, so did you go straight 4 years?
No, actually, so I got my associate's degree in 2 years. I was going to go for my bachelor's, but at the time, it was right around 2010 at that time. So the real estate market was crashing. We were losing our house. Here in
08 was
Flint.
the
Yep.
huge dump, yeah.
Yep. So we ended up losing our house here in Flint in 2010. As we were in the process of losing our house, I got a recruitment letter from a company in the oil field, Schlumberger, and they wanted me to come work for them as an electronic technician. So,
Now, what would that entail with an oil company? I'm curious.
basically, so I worked at a service center in Oklahoma City, and we fixed all of the downhole tools that are used all across North
I don't know
America.
what that means. Downhole tool?
The survey equipment, they're about 3 5/8 diameter,
Okay.
maybe 32 to 40 feet long, and they put them down in the well
Yeah.
to survey the geology down there to try to find the hydrocarbons, try to find out, is it oil, is it gas, is it water?
The thing that they put in the hole to find out what's in the hole.
Exactly. Yeah, imaging equipment that they put way down into the earth. Yep.
Very good. So in Oklahoma, what's Oklahoma like? Like I picture like the Sooners.
It is. I mean,
Right.
yeah. So you see that everywhere. You learn the story of Boomer Sooner. What's it mean? You learn that.
Boomers. Well, what's it mean?
Back in the days of the land run, everyone was going out there, so they were all going to go out, and at a certain time, they were going to shoot a gun. Everybody was going to run out and then stake
Like the
their
movie.
property, just like the movie. Yeah.
Okay, they're 40 acres and yada yada yada.
That's right. Yeah. So some people, history tells this story, but I'd say they were the smart ones. They snuck out the night before, and then they were there. So as soon as they heard the gun go off, they staked their land.
Yeah.
So the people that waited for the gun to go off were called the boomers, and then the people that kind of cheated and went the night before, they're called the Sooners. So that's where Boomer Sooner comes from. So
That's still a thing.
still a thing.
And the people that cheated are considered the smart ones.
Yes.
Wow.
I think so. I mean, don't you?
I got to be honest. If it was me and I went out there and a dude had already staked it, I'd have been like, me and you are about to have a misunderstanding because you're a cheater
Yep.
and I'm taking it out.
Yeah, I'm sure it happened.
I'm sure it did.
happened.
And like if we were fighting over it and I I was one of the top 3 people and there wasn't a bunch of people in front of me and you're standing there, like we're gonna have a misunderstanding at that point, which is perfectly fine. I'm not a person that struggles with confrontation.
No, I hear you.
But I did as a young man. I like confrontation. As an older man, the reason why I like confrontation is because I really like resolution and I enjoy solving problems. I'm an excellent listener.
Yeah, that you are. I'll give you that.
So you go out there. See, I never knew that. I should have. You should let people know who knew that. I don't know. Never even heard. So, was there anything interesting other than
the tornadoes, man?
Really?
The tornadoes down there, they were something else. So here in Michigan, when we have tornadoes, people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go stand on my back porch and watch it come in." Yeah. And down in Oklahoma, when the tornadoes were coming in, they're coming on the news channels saying everybody within this 1 mile radius of the freeway
so
needs to evacuate.
Yeah, debris.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we already got to go to our first break. So this is your first time. Please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Help us get the word out. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You click on our episodes and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to UCAN Studios. I am your host, Isaac Walsh, and I'm here with my warrior of the week, David Bowles, and it's from davidbowles.kw.com.
That's right. DaveBowles.kw.com.
But there's an E. So
That's
it's not
right.
B-O-W-L like bowling. It's B-O-W-L-E bowles.kw.com. Right?
That's right.
Yeah. So there's 2 dots.
Yes.
Yeah.
A couple of them, yeah.
Yeah. Dave Bowles, B-O-W-L-E-S .kw.com. And that's a little shot there. So if you guys want to check it out while he's talking on his real estate stuff, we were just getting in the tornado. So when, like, you're talking Twister land for real.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so 3 questions came to my mind during our break that I want to get to. First of all, that movie Twister, how accurate is that? Like F5? You have the
I'm
guys
just going to
with
say
the
it's
cars.
not at all.
It's bullcrap?
Yeah.
All right, do you have the guys in the tornado cars and all that out there?
Yes.
Did you
see them a lot.
any of those?
Yes. Yep. And they get wrecked in those tornadoes. Trust me.
Okay, that was my third question. Have you ever seen one just get completely blasted?
Yes.
All
Not in person, but I do
At the
remember.
after. Okay,
yeah, there
what
was
does it look like?
They just, it's funny because they put those cars are armored to the teeth.
Yeah.
They literally put like steel plates on every door and window, everything. But there was one specific that I remember. It was a car, and it actually did get picked up and thrown by the tornado. Thrown through a field. It was pretty crazy. But
And they said they were all okay?
Yeah, yeah. And storm chasers, like it's a job down there.
All I'm saying is if I had a piece of charcoal and I saw that happen, that would be put in a place I could put massive amounts of pressure. So by the time I got thrown around, I'd have a diamond.
Yep.
That's all
Absolutely.
I'm saying. Woo! Would you do that for a living?
No. I'm going the other direction.
Yeah, out of all the things to pick, I am hoping not to die today, honey. Ham sandwich when I get, like, what? I don't know. Whatever. So, how long is like the tornado season in there?
Couple months. It's wild. That was really something else. I guess that's the one thing that I think I remember the most from living there. The people are crazy nice. Life is slow paced. People hold open doors, but other than that, I just remember the tornadoes. It was a real
So it's
fear.
nice and you can die.
Absolutely. Yeah, we loved life down there. It was really
All
fantastic.
right, so you met your wife there at college?
No, I met my wife here in Michigan on a camping trip. Yeah, so I got out of the military in April.
Camping trip.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, I'd been out for about 3 months when I met
3 whole
her.
months.
Yeah, she was actually dating one of my best friends at the time. So
no
maybe
kidding.
a story for another day. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think so. You meet, and how long was it from the time that you were in Michigan to you moved to Oklahoma?
Probably about 2.5 years, I think.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been dating 2.5 years. You go out to Oklahoma. Are you married at this point?
Married by then. Yep. So we had a kid early, and ended up getting married pretty quick. We were married after he was born, but.
And refresh my memory, you were doing oil, electronic.
At the time, I was a cable guy.
A cable guy.
Yeah, so when I started going to college, I was a cable guy.
Sorry, I'm just picturing you as Jim Carrey right now. That's where my brain. Guys, my next to cable. Oh my gosh, sorry. So you did cable, and then you found that job. That.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did you do that stuff?
I worked in the oil field for about 2.5 years before we decided we were going to move back to Michigan, and then I moved into the medical field, which was an interesting transition because. The way that I made that transition was I likened the fact that we were imaging the earth to, in the medical field, we're imaging people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the same stuff, ultrasonic
with the
stuff,
gel
gamma rays.
and the-
Yep.
All right, so that job, was it like a good paying job? Like, was it a good career? Like, if someone wanted to do it, it was.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if your goal is, to get paid well, medical devices is definitely a good spot to do that.
All right. So how did you transition? Like, how did that someone doesn't go, I'm doing oil and now I'm doing people. Like, how did that, and you have an electrical
engineering
degree. So how does that happen?
I think like with everything else in life, I knew what I wanted to achieve, and at the time it was, my wife wanted to come home to her family. She wanted to get our son back with his grandparents.
So the goal was to get back here.
Yeah. So the goal was to get back here. And I just said, how can I do that?
So you're putting, all right. This is why I like interviewing people. So you're not looking for oil jobs when you come back to Michigan, right?
No.
So you're like, well, I gel stuff. Like I see things. What kind of jobs? And how did you go? Oh, I'm doing that. Like what? How did that work?
At the time I was looking for any type of job in the electrical field, really. Yeah. And then I saw that, and somebody had told me at that time, like every resume that you send out needs to be custom written for the job that you're going to.
Oh,
you
adhere
can't
to
write
that
one,
job.
right? Yep. So as I'm writing my resume to apply for this job, it's starting like the synapses are firing in my brain, and I'm starting to see like if I tie these together, I can convince these people that I'm the right person for this job.
I gotcha.
And then,
so how did you do that?
I talked a lot about the principles of imaging.
Principles of imaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you're scanning is less important that you know how to scan.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting? There's a lot of similarities between the earth and our bodies. When they're looking at ultrasounds and doing things like MRI, they're looking at our hydrogen atoms in our body. How much, where's the water at? Where's all the hydrogen?
Wow.
And that's exactly what we do on the earth because we're looking for hydrocarbons.
Now, see, if you would have said that, if you wouldn't have said that, I wouldn't have known that.
Right. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's interesting. Really interesting. Really closely related, actually.
That's crazy, and I want to get more about that because my nerd mind's going, but we're going to skip forward.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, no, that just sounds cool. All right, so you come in the medical world, you move back to this area?
Yep. Right. I came back. I was working right here at Genesis in Grand Blanc.
No kidding.
Yep.
Oh, welcome to the pros.
Right.
All right, so you're working there and you're doing that and going along. And what's life like at this point?
It was pretty good, So I was making decent money. I enjoyed my job. I was just, I worked only at Genesis at the time, so I was working on, X-ray, CT, stuff like that. I had great relationships with all the people in the hospital. I really enjoyed it, but I still felt trapped in my job.
Now, why? Because it was boring.
Well, I was on call 24/7 for the hospital. So
and so you could be at like a family party,
100%,
and you're
they
like,
call you.
I gotta go.
Yep.
Oh, all right. That doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
And how much did that happen?
Often.
No kidding.
Yeah. Too often. Pretty often. Yeah.
Pretty often.
So I did that for a while, and then I decided that I made another change while I was at the hospital. I had an opportunity. When I was working on the devices, I had to work a lot with the IT folks. So while I was at Genesis, they approached me and they said, "Hey, we've got this open position with our IT organization. Would you be interested?"
Doing what?
Application support for radiology and cardiology.
No kidding.
Yep. So I went from supporting the devices and I moved into an IT role, almost like a help desk support type role, but more for the cardiologists and the radiologists.
Because you had an electrical.
Yeah.
So the degree
it was,
opened the doors.
It was just another shift, another kind of fluid movement to another industry.
Right. But why did they come to you? Like, were you applying? No,
I wasn't. They really liked me.
Someone's like, Dave, you're the man.
Yeah.
And we need a man over here.
Yeah,
you're the
that's
man
it.
For the job.
I was the guy for the job, and so at that point I had the relationships built with the people in the departments and the doctors, and they all knew and trusted me. So it became, all I had to do once I got in the role was just perform.
Right. And do what you say you're going to do and then do it.
Yep.
And then do it well.
That's right.
All right, so you get into that job. I'm assuming it was a bump in pay or something.
Yep, that was a bump in pay. I did, and I was in IT for about 3 years.
All right, how long did you do the scanning?
About 2.5 years when I worked in the biomedical.
All right, and then it was 3 years.
Then it was about another 3 years with Ascension IT. So, and then there I went from working local to working on a national scale. I was implementing systems at different hospitals throughout the country.
Is that how the role just transformed because of the transition to
the company was changing their infrastructure. They were changing the way that everything was working. They were moving a lot of the local support into a national model and then eventually an outsourced model. So they were eliminating a lot of the positions down, but I was good at what I did. So as the positions got eliminated, I kept going higher, 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 higher.
And you're how old?
I'm 38 right now.
No.
At the time?
Yeah.
Maybe 26, 27.
All right, so you're 26 or 27. You're now on a national level of IT. I gotta imagine that's a great job.
It was. I made decent money, but that job, I thought I worked a lot when I was local.
Yeah.
When you're on call for an entire country, it's a different story.
No kidding. 350 million people can be a little consuming.
Right. Yeah.
Who would have guessed that?
It's a lot.
Jeez, so easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're 26 or 27. So you have money.
Yep. A little bit. I was still living paycheck to paycheck at the time. I was an idiot with money at the time, if I can be honest.
Well, I mean, you're 26 or 27, and that's a general prognosis of how those people. Like I've seen the videos,
right?
You know, So, like having someone that young being intelligent with their money is the oddity, not the
Right.
norm, right?
Yeah.
But you're married, you're living your life, you're doing your things. Did you find that fulfilling?
No, not at all. I was miserable. I felt trapped in my job, which, I felt trapped there, which in turn made me feel trapped as a parent. It made me feel trapped as a husband. Because I was constantly working, I had zero control over my own life.
I just want to make sure I got this right. So what you're telling me is you're doing all the things that everybody tells you to be successful, and you're like, this isn't it.
Correct.
See, I feel that at a very visceral level, and one of the things I try to tell people is sometimes success isn't about power or money. It's about impact.
Right.
What did I actually leave something? And you can be making things. You can have on a $200 money shirt, and you can't stand what's inside of it.
Yeah.
Because you feel empty.
Can't even look in the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, and something that's more normal than someone going, oh yeah, they're trying to pretend to do, right? And it's like you end up becoming this empty rattling can that just, I'm doing everything everybody says, and I'm pretending to be awesome, and I really want to be awesome, but I'm not awesome, and I can't figure out why I'm not awesome.
It's frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, like if you had to think back to that time, do you have like a couple of things that was like, man, this is what I was frustrated with, like other than working a lot, like you're missing everything, right?
So I think the biggest thing, if looking back, kind of hindsight being 2020, at the time, it's my own fault. I put my focus on my career, and I did not put my focus on my wife. I did not put my focus on my son, and I gave everything that I could to my career. But outside of that, at the end of the day, I wasn't working to make myself better. I wasn't working to help build my future. I wasn't working to leave a legacy.
Yeah, you were working to build someone else's future,
100%.
someone else's legacy.
Yeah. And there's no fulfillment there, zero.
Yeah, and it's great and it's not great, because on one side, when you're in it, it's, I accomplished something, but then when you're out, well, we're just putting the next guy in, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I thought I was the guy, the thing, and the stuff, and it's
everyone is replaceable in the corporate America machine. 100%. Everyone is replaceable.
All right, with that, we got to go to our second break. Dave, sit tight. We will be right.
Hey, it's Aaron with UCAN. We're down here at the Unity Fest the Heart of Flint is putting on, Kersley Park Pavilion over here on the east side. Doing a lot of great things out here with a lot of great people. There's all types of vendors, people giving away food and water and clothing, just a lot of resources for the community. UCAN's out here, and we're talking to a lot of people already whose loved ones have been afflicted by the disease of addiction. So we're able to get our information out, hopefully be able to provide resources to those folks in the future.
There's freedom in your name, Jesus. There's freedom in your name. You break every
All right, here we are, Unity Fest 2, and I'm here with the promoter, Jeremy. How are we doing today, buddy?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Doing great. We're here at the UCAN tent, handing out for United Community Addiction Network, getting everybody here helped out. It looks like a full house. How many people do you think are here?
A few hundred. We just opened, so I think it's going to get better, though, today.
All right, and how many people you got playing today?
We have 3 artists. We got Shantae Music, and we have Nick Hill, who's out of Saginaw, and then End of I. I don't know who they are, but...
Welcome back to UCAN Studios. I am your host, Isaac Walsh, and my warrior of the week is DaveBowles.kw.com. If you want to check that out. And he sells houses, which we haven't got to yet. We're getting there. And your story was just really crazy because your peak of being a man, physical, mental abilities, 27 to 40. I mean, that's your peak time, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing this, and you feeling unfulfilled, and time is of the essence. The kids are growing up, the relationship with the wife, so everything's out of whack. So you decide what?
So actually here, I found out that my wife was pregnant again. And my older son was 12 years old.
Ooh,
or 11 years old at the time.
That's a bit of a stretch, yeah.
So then I had a complete kind of meltdown at that time. That's when I realized like everything's broken. I'm doing all this work for nothing. I have no money. And now I got another kid. Like I can't do this for another 40 years. Right. So I changed jobs again. I went back into the medical device field.
All right, hold on. How long were you at that job?
I was in IT for 3 years, and then I spent 3 years working on medical devices in the cancer industry.
All right. So why that job?
That job I made a lot of money at. I got a company car, company credit card, like everything. I made a ton of money there.
So explain this to me. Medical devices for cancer patients?
Treatment patients, yeah. So me and 3 other engineers covered from basically Petoskey, so northern Michigan, all the way down to Toledo. We fixed machines called linear accelerators that treat cancer patients through beam therapy. Through X-ray beam therapy, yeah.
Okay.
And then, other cancer treatment devices, we worked on all those there. So swapping out radioactive sources and things like that. I did that for about 3 years.
So you basically were working on X-ray equipment that helped people be cured of cancer.
Correct. And that's when I felt the biggest, like I'm making a difference.
Yeah, no, because you get to see the outcome, right?
Yep. And like I truly felt like for the first time in my 10 years of being in the medical industry or whatever, I was making a difference in helping save lives.
So like how many people have, I haven't heard of this. So how many people have this thing? Is it like a popular thing? It sounds like a home.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. No, I mean, so basically anybody who's getting, it's called beam therapy. And there's a big table.
It's a cool name, by the way.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the machine, it rotates around your body and it basically forms the beam of X-ray to exactly shape the size of your tumor.
Kidding.
So it minimizes, the extra radiation to your other tissues surrounding that.
I've never even.
It's wild.
Cancer. That's why I haven't heard of it.
The technology is amazing.
That's nuts. And what year is that come out?
Oh gosh, that's been out for a long, long time. I was just doing this work about 3 years ago.
And it's like shooting a laser, killing the.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like that's what I got in my brain.
More or less,
it's got the.
They use radiation to kill that tissue.
Just that tissue.
Exactly.
Man, so they can put that radiation only to the tumor and hit just the tumor, so the rest of your body's not affected.
Yeah, I mean they're so accurate. I mean it's within a quarter of a millimeter for the beam accuracy.
Okay, and how long does that process take? Like,
oh gosh, I worked. Like if you were a cancer patient, it's different for everybody. They basically get a prescription of how many they're called monitor units.
Yeah.
And depending on how many MU you need, you'll get a specialized treatment plan for you specifically.
Man, that's crazy. Like I said, I haven't had cancer, but I've never heard of that. That's actually pretty cool.
It's wild.
What years were you doing that?
I did that. Probably like 2019 until 2022.
So you're doing this in COVID?
Yeah, all through COVID. Yep, and then all through COVID. At that point when I took this job, I knew I'm gonna get this job and I'm gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna buy some rentals. That way, I don't have to keep
your exit strategy.
Job. Yep. So all through COVID, I was working like crazy amounts of overtime.
So you didn't get shut down and stopped or nothing?
No, we didn't get shut down at all.
No kidding?
No, zero. They called us, it was literally the next day. So I worked all through COVID, and it was so bad that at night after 5 p.m., gas stations closed, and there was no food. And I was working from 6 a.m. until 10 p.m., so I'm driving home, and it's like ghost town.
Traffic must have been great.
It was amazing. I could drive 120 miles an hour because there's nobody out.
Yeah,
not even
not
cops.
that we would do that because it's against
not that
the
I
law.
would do that because it's against the law.
Allegedly, this one time.
I might. I know a guy.
Right. So you're doing this, and you're making great money. So where was so you start getting in the rentals? Was that like because middle of COVID? When did you buy your first house?
2020, right in the middle of COVID. Yep, we got a great deal. On my first
I bet.
rental. Yep.
End of the world, life's coming to the end. Sure,
everything's over. Yep.
Yeah.
Landlords were freaking out. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. So you buy a house and you rent it?
Yeah, just started renting it out. Just my first one. It was a small, little 2-bedroom, and I just started renting it out. I did a couple repairs on it. Just started renting that one out. Take it easy.
How'd it work?
Really well, honestly. I still own it. I still have the same tenant in there that I had when I bought the house 4 years ago, 4 years ago now. So she's still with me, which is great. Yeah. We got a good relationship. Yeah, so it's
all
good.
right. So you do that. It's successful. How long before you're like, oh, we got to do more?
Like 2 days, honestly.
2 days?
Yeah.
You're like, no, I want 2 of these?
Yeah, because I had, so as I was getting into the beginning of my investment journey, I did a cash out refinance on my own house.
Yeah.
Because I'm a veteran, we can take advantage of 100% cash out.
0%.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I ended up taking money out of my house, and I got such a great deal on this house. I didn't have to put a lot of money down.
Yeah.
So I had money left over. And I'm like, okay, well, the universe provides. Let's do one more.
Right.
So I took that money and I partnered on a flip with a friend of mine.
Okay.
And we ended up doing a couple of flips. And then over the past couple of years, I've acquired a few more rentals.
So each one had been successful?
Yeah. Doing
you were
really
able
well.
to
I mean, I've learned my lessons. I've lost, 20, 30,000, on mistakes, but
overall the outcome was successful.
yeah, it's fantastic. And for me, and I try to steer away from politics, I guess, but I worked all through COVID, and then the reason that I lost my engineering job is because I did not want to take the vaccination. I had to make a choice.
Oh yeah.
And I just chose to let them fire me over it because I just wasn't on board with that.
Yeah.
But without having those rentals, I wouldn't have had that freedom.
Yeah.
None of our engineers, I can speak for the 4 of us, we all said that we didn't want it. And then the mandate came out, and then within 24 hours, 3 of the 4 of us had our first shot.
Yeah.
And nobody was happy about it. So I kind of felt like I had to stand up and say, I don't think this is okay.
All right. So and how long was that into 2020?
That was so they let me know in September of 2022 that, so I worked all through COVID.
Yeah,
so for 2
like
years.
A year
yeah.
Year and a few months.
Yeah. So it was a little while into COVID when that happened, but that's when I decided to get into real estate. And I knew that I could continue to provide for my family here. Yeah. And then I could also help people.
All right. So you put yourself in a position to have an exit strategy, not knowing that the world was going to end.
Crazy. Right?
And then you so your calculated risks here is like kind of what I'm picking up on your brain, which and each time you're switching out, it's like 3 years. I don't know if you notice that pattern, but like every 3 years, you're like,
I have, yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like that. And you're like searching.
Right.
Right. And that's interesting because other people's patterns be 7 years or 5. It's just interesting how it works itself out. Right. And so here you are. Now it's 2022 and you're like, all right, I got these rentals. What made you go, oh, I'll just do real estate because I'm doing rentals?
Yeah. I thought it's funny. Yes. I'm going to say yes. Like short answer, yes.
Yeah.
I thought, I am an intelligent guy, right? So I had myself convinced that I knew everything. Right. And it's funny. I thought, I know enough about real estate. I can easily be, a real estate agent.
Easily.
Like that job's so simple. Like they just drink, they drink stuff on
money.
beaches and it's easy to buy and sell a house, right?
Yeah.
And I thought I was the expert, but then I got in, I just told myself like, Dave, you can do this, All
right. So hold on. So you get let go in September. This is 2022.
Yeah.
And mind you got 2 kids.
Right.
And you got 2 rentals.
Yep.
And how long after you got fired that you did because you got to take that certification or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
So I knew in September, as soon as the mandate came out, I kind of knew like, okay, well, this is it for me. So prepare, right?
Yeah.
This is coming. So they told me by October 1st, if you're not vaccinated on October 1, you don't work here. Yeah. So through September, that's when I started researching, how do I get my real estate license? How do I do this?
So is your exit strategy.
Yeah. So then October 1st, first day as a free man.
Free man, right. I love it.
I know. Free men don't make money though. If they just sit at home.
Yeah. I was fired. Yes.
So I took my real estate salesperson course in October. Okay. I got that done. I just said, your first week of not working for anybody else, that's going to be your 40-hour course. So I did not take a break. I went straight into my course. I went and took the test as soon as I could. I passed it the first time.
How long did that take? Just time frame?
The class took me about a week. And then I was able to take my test like 3 weeks after that, or 4 weeks after that. So was early
it like
November.
Heavy information, or it just wasn't that complex?
It's terrible, actually. It's very complex. They talk, and it's funny. It doesn't prepare you to be a realtor at all. There's a lot of like legal questions, things about things about amortization of a loan, things that we don't really deal with every day.
What that means. I don't even know what that word means.
Right? How many square feet are in an acre? Right? Like you have to learn that stuff.
Why?
I don't know. They pretend like it's important.
Why do you need to know that? I don't know.
So then you get out there, and
It's like basket weaving class in college. Why do you need this? Because
exactly.
Resets.
And then Isaac comes along and he's like, "Hey, Dave, how do I buy a house? Like, let's go write an offer on this house." And you're like, "Oh gosh, they didn't teach me that."
But I know the square footage of that acreage,
right?
though. I'll tell you.
Right.
We're gonna have you learn information that you don't need, so you are completely prepared for this job that you don't know.
Exactly.
That's what you just told me.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
Look at your
100%.
face. You're looking at me like
it's a joke.
You're looking at me like I'm dumb, and I'm like,
I love it.
What?
But I think that's why now that I'm out here, it's so funny. Yeah, and now that I'm out here and I am successful, I've done a really awesome job in my 2.5 years as an agent. I now understand why not all agents are created equal. Some are better than others.
Really? Well, before we get into that, we already got to go to our next break. We're about ready to hit our third break. Please go check out if you know someone struggling with drug rehabilitation issues or alcohol issues and they need some help. We are here to help. UCANMichigan.com. Click on struggling. You can check out any one of our community partners. And if you know someone that is struggling with faith and needs some help, spiritualwarfareunit.com. Click on struggling. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
I'm really impressed with the teachings that Isaac has been bringing to us, as this is all based from Proverbs.
I like it because it's simple, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's very easy to understand and apply to your life.
It points out, my bad parts, and, but it's showing me how to do the good parts. And, I'm trying to apply that and, make a better life for myself because I'm tired of where I've been.
It's impacted a lot of the guys as they continue to talk and ask questions after the meetings, as they speak to one another regarding the meeting and the messages and the topics that are being brought up, which are down-to-earth topics of situations and things that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
He takes the Bible and he breaks it down into simple terms and where you can understand. And like I said before, sometimes a lot of churches, even the Salvation Army, sometimes we start using these big words that people don't understand, like even saying someone got saved. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say someone got saved? And it's accepting Jesus into your heart. So it's like words like that we use that people don't understand.
It's just very interesting how he points out, the different things of, the sin part, and then he comes back with the, how to make it better, and he just points it out. It's there. I didn't know all this stuff was in there, but now that he's pointing it out, it's like, wow, I guess if you really dig into the Bible, you find these things.
This is a daily moral standards that we can live by, that the teachings are coming from. And honestly, we can take verse by verse as what he's done, and pretty much he's done the hard work for us and now laying it out so that we have an easier understanding.
There's some people who don't like to be in Bible classes, but this one seems to get their attention.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Isaac Walls. We're at UCAN Studios, and I'm with Dave Bowles, KBowles.kw.com. And we were just getting into his realtor story, and you were telling us why all of those people are not created equal.
Right.
And what's the deal?
It's like I said, the test, it doesn't really prepare you for
what is the square footage on an acre, by the way?
Oh man, don't do that.
Dude, if you were like this many 5,237 feet.
I don't even know. Don't do that to me.
Dude, if you pulled that off, I'd be like, nailed it. All
I wish I would have. No,
because you've never used the information, which makes it dumber.
Yeah, and I would just Google it, right? That's.
You remember when we were in school and they're like, you're not going to be able to use a calculator in life.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
It's like, I really can. Like, what do you mean I can't have my cell phone? I have Google with me everywhere I go.
Watch.
Yeah.
All right, so they're not created equal because...
Yeah. So the test doesn't really prepare you, right? So then you go out into the world and you just think that people are going to call you. Like if you were in a business, people would bring the product up to you to just buy from you. Yeah. But then I realized you are the product. Right? Because there's so many real estate agents out there. So that's when
it was selling you.
Yeah, it is. So that's when I started looking at okay, what makes the agents good? Because I've been successful in almost everything that I've endeavored in my life. It's just I do what it takes. So I just try to think, what does it take? And I started looking at all the other real estate agents, and I think there's two big things that I think separate the good ones from the bad ones. First one is education. There's constantly changing stuff that, you've got to you got to keep your pulse on the market, and then you got to keep your pulse on all the changing legislation. And then secondly, most importantly, it's community. The agents that are being successful, they're the agents that go above and beyond for their clients. They're the agents that are part of the local Lions clubs. They're the agents like me who are part of their local scout organizations. It's those people who can build that community around themselves. They're the ones who are really able to be more successful. And the more successful you are, the more you can give back.
So if I'm hearing what you're saying, and I just want to make sure I get this right, because I got to dumb it down for us lesser people that don't have all of those intelligences, is that if a person wants to do business, they should be a part of their community. And if they're a part of their community, then they'll be successful.
Absolutely. 100%.
So giving back to the community becomes a big deal.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I had that straight. Now that we have that straight, you decided that you wanted to help Homes for Heroes.
Yes.
All right. When did you do that?
I joined Homes for Heroes December of last year. I just found out about the organization while I was at a Michigan Realtor conference. And when I found out that they were out there and there was a way that I could definitely give back to all of these heroes, and it's legal, I'm in.
All right. So how did it come about?
Well, I had been doing some work. I love supporting local nonprofits, especially veteran related. So I had been doing some work with a local organization here that Strength in Numbers. I sponsor a lot of the lunch and a haircuts for the veterans. I do a lot of stuff. Shave and a haircut.
2 bits. Sorry. Snorkel, shiny thing, squirrel.
So, that, sorry. Doing that. And then I found out about the Homes for Heroes. And basically, they're a 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization. They formed after 9/11, after those terrorist attacks. And their big goal in the beginning was to give back to the firefighters and the police officers that, were suffering loss there. And then it grew to the multiple hero organizations. So, and I love that. I love giving back to veterans. I understand the sacrifices that we make, and I love giving back, man. And when I found this was a way I could do that, and basically what it is, just to tell you, when folks use me to buy or sell a house, anybody that's part of these 5 hero groups, they actually receive back from Homes for Heroes it ends up being 0.7% of the purchase price. So for easy terms, for every $100,000 worth of house I can help you buy or sell, you'll get back $700. And that comes back directly. It's not directly from me, but it is. It's part of my commission that I give to them to give to you.
So it's part of the money that you're supposed to get.
Yes.
You give it back as a thank you.
Correct.
And you do that because you just like people.
Because I can.
All right. With that being said, you have been doing this for 2.5 years.
Right.
Okay. And you're giving back to the people. And you said when you were 26 or 27, you're making tons of money. You're spending a lot of money.
Right.
Fiscally irresponsible because you're young, and that's what young people do. And completely unfulfilled. So where are you at now?
Oh, my gosh.
Doing this?
I love my life, man.
Now, what parts of it make it fun? What do you got?
Running my own business, I get control over my own schedule. So with my 16-year-old son, I am an assistant scoutmaster for the Davison troop. So every Monday night, I have scouts. Every Thursday night with my 4-year-old, I have Cub Scouts. I'm in it. I
that
help
makes
with
so
Cub
much
Pack.
sense to my brain, actually.
It's so
that
cool.
you do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I just love it, and we're raising these kids with these great ideals and just great values. And that's what we really need today. I think is so important. So I do that. That's a huge part of my life. I can do stuff for people. I do crazy things,
Give me an example of crazy.
So just last week, we had a client and they were having an issue getting some furniture out of the basement. And it was the day of closing, and the buyer said, hey, if you're not going to get this out, we're not going to buy your house. So my client says, Dave, what are we going to do? So I just called, I called one of my favorite local contractors, and him and I went over there and we cut this up. I mean, we're using Sawzalls and circular saws to cut up couches and desks and things to get them out of the house the day of closing. And I have the freedom to do that. And I can do this.
And that feels like really therapeutic.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then like people are afraid they're going to lose their house, and then I can come in and do something amazing that they would never think of.
No
and I can
kidding.
help them achieve that goal.
So someone's like facing foreclosure, and you're like, no, I got this.
Yeah, we've got solutions for just about any kind of problem you can think of.
No
Yeah.
kidding. And
Yeah.
all right, how many times have you been in foreclosure incidents? Just times, and you were able to help the person.
So right now, actually, so we're purchasing a house where the person is getting ready to lose it. So I don't want to get into the foreclosure
No.
process.
How many people have you gone through that you've helped like that?
Like 3 in
kidding.
that scenario.
In 2.5
3, yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Man, it's like every 8 months.
It's
Someone's
crazy.
getting their house saved, and you're doing that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
got to feel awesome.
I love it.
No
I've got some
kidding.
really awesome success stories, actually. I just closed for a veteran just this past
Come on,
Monday.
feed me, Seymour.
All right. So this guy, he was an Army vet. His name's Jeremiah. He came to me. I didn't know him through Homes for Heroes, but I did honor him for that. And he came to me and said, Dave, I'm looking for my first house, right? But
Did you get the 0% one?
He did, yeah.
Okay.
So it's really awesome. So he got the 0% VA loan, 0 down. And then he told me, like, Dave, I want to try to keep as much money in my pocket as possible.
Yeah.
I knew we had to go find a seller who was willing to give us money back in the form of what's called seller concessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we went out and he told me, like, Dave, I like what you're doing with the investing. Could I do that too? Like, can we do both at the same time? And I said, actually, we can. There's a really cool thing you can do, and it's referred to as house hacking in the industry.
Okay.
So he purchased a duplex
All right.
with his 0 down loan. All total out-of-pocket cost to close was just under $1,000 after the money we gave back to him. So yeah, just under $1,000 to close on this house duplex.
Wow.
And then his mortgage payment, I think, is going to be about $1,000 a month. And then from the other unit that he's renting out, he's getting from them $750.
So he's paying $250 a month.
First time home buyer. He's in a
Shut
duplex. He's
your
paying
mouth.
about $250 a month, and then in a couple of years he'll move on, do it again, and just keep building his portfolio.
Dude, what you said is like blows my mind a little bit, given the economy and housing prices and everything.
wild.
It's just insane.
Yeah, it's
Like,
awesome.
I am going to ask you off the air how in the world you pulled that off, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to ask you now.
For
but
sure.
I want to know how you did that. That is amazing. And so, do you like post on your website like your success stories and stuff?
I post on my Facebook. I do a lot of stuff on Facebook. I don't do YouTube. I don't really do Instagram.
Okay.
I focus on Facebook a little bit, because that's where my community is at. That's
Is
where
it
my
just
people
under
are.
your name, or is it
Yep.
under your company?
Yep. So I have
Or is that the
there's-
same thing?
No, it's actually not the same thing. So I've got my personal Facebook page, David Bowles, and then I have my David Bowles Realtor. It's my business page. They're closely related. I share back and forth between the two. You can find me on either one. Once you find one, you're going to find the other.
And then, so if people wanted to find you, they just go to davebowles.kw.com.
That's right. Yeah. Or find me on Facebook. Yeah.
Is there anything on that website you want people to check out, just as far as seeing like stuff that you find interesting on the website? Or is it just
Not specifically right now. So we haven't put a lot of focus into our website, and just this year we're actually starting to work on that, and we're starting to write some blogs and things to get on our website. We're talking about starting to make some videos, hopefully trying to get out a little bit there on the marketing side.
There you go. So you finished up doing that. That's where your life's at now. So what do you do for fun when you're like, what's your downtime?
Oh man, I'm a gamer. I love to play video games.
Really?
Yeah, I love video games. I don't get enough time to play.
Obviously.
But we like to go on vacations when we can now. It's not something we ever were able to do before, so that's nice.
It's always good to pay to do nothing.
Yeah, and I love grilling. I love
Grilling.
to have friends and
You're a
family over.
foodie?
Yeah, I am. I love to grill. I love to host poker nights. My wife's family, I get all of them together for family gatherings because they don't do it by themselves. I love hanging out with people. I work and play 7 days a week. I don't take days off ever.
So you're a social.
Yeah,
You're
100%.
a social butterfly.
Yep.
You would kind of have to be given the work that you do. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I don't know,
I love
man.
it.
After all the stuff I've gone through, I completely understand the get off my lawn guy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't control all that crazy. Just don't touch my stuff. I completely understand.
You can
that.
come on my lawn. I don't mind.
Dude,
Just don't drive on it, man.
Yeah, right. Unbelievable. Well, buddy, we are just about out of time. If I gave you like another 60 seconds and you wanted just maybe a little bit more than 60 seconds of just what you want people to pull out of this and how you could help or they could help, or what is it that you'd want to convey just as a final word for our little story here today?
So other than the fact that I would love to help you buy and sell a house, or if you had friends or family that did and you don't have a realtor that you know and trust, I would love to help you. But outside of that, just on a personal level, being somebody who has gone through major change in my life, I think it is important for us to sometimes take a break and look at where we're at in life and maybe take a halftime. I read a book by Bob Buford that was amazing called Halftime. And I think it's important for people to know that they can take control of their lives. And we live in such a crazy society, and you can affect your future. And it's important to recognize that and just try to take control of that just through just baby steps every day. And then, the more you start to achieve, the more you believe in yourself, and that does grow. So if you're someone who's struggling today and you can't even take that first step, I would just urge you, just take one and see where it goes,
And the first step that you made was what? Like when you were doing something, like you planned your exit strategy, like you look at your
yeah. So
story
I guess for me, my big first step was Dave Ramsey, the big financial guru. I learned how to not live paycheck to paycheck. That was a game changer for me. I learned that it's okay to, I was convinced money's evil and all this stuff. So I convinced myself that like being broke was okay, because if I had more money, I'd become a terrible person. And that wasn't true. So I raised my financial intelligence there, and I learned to save money. And then once I had money, then like the next step kind of gave itself to me. It's like, well, now that you have money, now what do you do? And I just started Googling, what do people with money do?
Yeah. So I guess I got to ask this question. So people that have a lot of money are evil. Like why was that thought process there?
I think my parents didn't do a good job of teaching me financial literacy as a kid. So you just hear all of these things, and to me, they're limiting beliefs, right?
You
hear
can't
all these
teach
things.
what you don't know,
Right.
And limiting beliefs. So, like, just real quick, like 30 seconds, top Googling things that helped you was... What was the name of that book again? Buford?
Bob Buford, Halftime. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki was amazing.
Okay.
BiggerPockets.com has been a huge help for me as a landlord and as an investor. And then for real estate agents that are out there that are struggling, the book by Gary Keller, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, is a really, really fantastic book.
Dude, see, I just want to give you the chance to help people, and you just hit it out of the park.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Dave, what are you talking about, dude? Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I want to thank you so much for coming in. And if you'd like to help people out or help us help people out, you can go to Spiritual Warfare Unit on YouTube, like and subscribe, just so you can get the information out to someone and you can be the help that someone else needs. If you know someone that's struggling with drug rehabilitation or alcohol and needs help, you can get the information out through UCANMichigan.com. That is UCANMichigan.com. I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Spent so much time believing the lies. I knew I wasn't meant to live this way, but my walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way. Jesus, there's freedom in your name. You break every chain, oh Lord. 'Cause you are above every name, Jesus. Oh, you set me free. Now I live my life singing songs of praise, proclaiming everything you've done for me.